Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Nikki the Creator. I'm your favorite manifestation coach, making manifestation super easy for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the science of affirmations, what happens in your brain when you affirm, when you say positive things, when you are basically reprogrammed in your mind and what's going on, and why it's important to, repeat, persist, so that you can see your reality shift. But before we jump into it, guys, click the link down below to my ebook. I do have a code attached to it where you can get $5 off. I have that running till next week. And I also have a discount on my coaching running at the moment for the holiday season coming up. Okay, so let's dive into the science of affirmations, which is basically neuroscience, which is basically the study of the brain. I have dive deep into the study of the brain when I stumbled across Dr. Joe He's very much an inspiration to me. Of course, he has his own rules, just like how Neville Goddard has his own rules. But across the board, some of it stays the same, which is when you change your thoughts and you persist in those thoughts, you change your life, right? And so a lot of people don't understand why it is that they have to repeat affirmations, or why they have to change thoughts to say a change, or why. The question is always, but how or why? And so sometimes I understand that when you're on this journey of changing your life, there's just some questions that you would like answered, so that maybe it can just make you feel safe, or make you that will be the push to create the habits, right? And so I will explain. In your brain is basically, the best way I can explain it, and I'm going to give it in simple terms, guys. The brain is moldable. You know, like how they say kids through a certain age, and I believe it's 1 through 7 or 2 through 7. Kids are like sponges, where a parent will curse around a toddler or a child, and by the next day the child is repeating the curse word. And the child's not repeating the curse word because they realize that it's a curse word. They're repeating it because they heard the sound, heard their parent who is their guardian, and they're like, let me repeat it. Maybe this is how I'm supposed to talk, right? Hence why they say you have to be careful how you talk around children, what you give children to read, things of that, blah, 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 blah. You guys get the point. But even though those are the easiest years to change and fill your mind with beliefs, it doesn't mean that you can't ever change your beliefs ever again. Hence why we're here in conscious creation, law of assumption, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the point. So your brain is moldable, and there are things that you have learned from when you were younger that is running your life right now. There is a story running about you and about the things that you are experiencing in your life. So there's a story that you may be running about you. Some people might be saying, oh, I'm such a procrastinator, which your experience will be that you are a procrastinator, because that's the story that you have running in your mind. Some people might be like, I'm wealthy, and might experience wealth because that is the story that they have running in their mind. So if your brain is moldable, right, where does the science come in, and how can we mold it to be what it is that we want it to be? And that's the part that I think is really cool. So essentially, you're used to responding in a certain way because of the things that you have been thinking. So your mood is affected and your emotions are affected by the things that you are thinking. So if you find that you go through you get super, super, super sad, I want you to kind of backtrack and see, how did that thought start? Because what happens is you have the one thought, and it attracts more of those thoughts, more of those thoughts, more of those thoughts. And sometimes that leads to a spiral, or leads to sad moments. Same thing with if I say, think of your happiest memory, you go back to your happiest memory, you start smiling, then you start remembering more happy memories and more happy memories and more happy moments, experiences. The same thing. The point is to not be positive thinking all the time, because positive thinking ensues that you are suppressing the negative thinking. The point is to create beliefs that are aligned to your desire. We are also human, so it does not mean that we're going to be happy 24/7. It's just about what you are thinking and what you want. About what you are thinking in regards to what you want. Okay? So now, you have a certain way of thinking. Now let's start it off with, you don't make enough money. And it was taught to you by a parent, right? So in your mind, you have beliefs about not having enough money. And so what that does, because that is the story going on in that mind, that's the neural pathway that's happening in your mind right now. That is what your brain is used to. That's what you've fed your brain from your parent. So you've had experiences, and so you think that it is truth. You're going to come into a situation, and it has to do with money, and where you could take two options of step in faith or be nervous with money and clench and become, cheap. You go down the route of going cheap and holding onto your money tight. And sometimes you can't even help it. It's just your natural reaction, your natural response. And it's your natural response because that is the story that is running, and that is the neural pathway that you have running in regards to money. Are you guys on board? So the question is, if you desire, and your truest desire is to be wealthy, how do you change that response to be that of a wealthy person? So how do you change that neural pathway? How do you mold your mind to believe that you are a wealthy person, especially if you maybe didn't grow up wealthy, you've never experienced wealth, you've only seen wealth on TV, you believe that you have to do ungodly things for money. These are some of the thoughts that may be running, and that may be your relationship with money. So how do you mold your brain? You basically create a new neural pathway. So some of the ways that I explain it to my clients is that, imagine you have a path in a park, and the gardener comes and trims all the trees so that you're able to walk down that path in the park or in the forest or wherever, and you can walk down it with ease. It's normal for you. So it's normal for you to think that money is difficult to get, right? You basically have to make a new neural pathway. You have to become the gardener, where you trim the trees and clear the pathway. You bulldoze down, where you figure out how to get that pathway clear. How do you get that pathway clear? You have to start thinking thoughts intentionally of someone that is wealthy. Now, to you, what would a wealthy person think? And I say to you because everybody defines that differently. When you've come to what wealthy means to you, how would a wealthy person think in your world? So for me, a wealthy person will not be tight with money, will not cringe at the sight of money, will not be scared to pay bills, will not cringe at the fact that, oh, my car is having problems, I have to pay for it. I won't be worried about certain little things if I had money or a certain level of wealth. But how do I get myself to get there? I have to intentionally train my thoughts to be that person. I am wealthy, for one. It's very simple. Manifesting money is easy. I'm financially literate. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. Money comes to me abundantly. I get paid thousands every day. However it is translated to you, that's how you have to begin to think. And what's going to happen in your brain is your brain is going to start to leave that neural pathway and go into the pathway that you want. And you're going to start to think like that person. And what happens when you start to think like that person? You begin to experience those thoughts. So sometimes a lot of people get frustrated with like, oh, affirmations and it's like, oh, law of assumption. This is like, what am I? It's literally science. You're just molding your thoughts. Like you were when you were younger, your parents molded your thoughts to be what it is that they wanted. Hence why, like I said, some parents did the best that they could. Some did not. And that's up to you if you want to forgive or not. But take it into your own hands to create the life that you want now. A lot of people watch my lives and know that I talk about my father taught me that I had to work super, super hard for money. So I had a story running that I had to work multiple jobs. And I was burnt out working multiple jobs. And my father works 2 jobs now. That's his style. That's what he wants to do. And that's working for him. But that does not work for me. Right? So I said to myself, how can I rewrite this story? And I proceeded to choose thoughts, because affirmations are just thoughts. I proceeded to choose thoughts that work for me. All you're doing in your mind is creating a new neural pathway. And then you begin to have new experiences. You begin to respond differently. A lot of people are like, well, how do I stop getting angry? I want to explain something. Think about somebody that knows their worth or someone that knows they're beautiful. If you know something, because to know something, that means it was a repeated thought that you now believe is true. You believe that you are beautiful. You believe that you are the best partner in the world. And someone comes and says, well, you're not beautiful. You literally will not budge. There will be nothing within you that will go, well, what are you talking about? I'm beautiful, and I'm beautiful because you have no urge to prove to that person because you already know. And that is manifestation, guys. You change your thought process and you know because you realize your thoughts have changed. You don't need to see the materialization of the manifestation to know. You know once your thoughts have changed. If a situation comes up that has been a repeated pattern in your life and you've been responding to it in your old thoughts and you've been trying to change your thoughts and that same pattern comes up and you responded to it differently, that's when you know that your thoughts have really changed. You don't need to see the full validation of it materialized in the 3D. Yes, that's what we want. Yes, that's what we want to see. But a lot of people are like, how do you know? How do you know when? You'll know when. You'll know when you're a different person. You'll know when you're thinking different. You'll know when the growth is there. It's very simple, guys. You want something, you desire something, you have to begin to think like the person that has it. You want something, you desire something, you have to begin to think like the person that has it. This goes across the board with healing. A lot of doctors do this with healing, and this is why a lot of people have miracles when it comes to physical pain, chronic pain, incurable diseases. They go, I just decided in my mind that I don't have it. Do you know what kind of mental strength that takes to be told that you have something incurable and you go, well, I'm deciding that I don't have it. And when they go back to the doctor's like, I don't know how you did it, but you don't have it. That's how powerful your subconscious mind is. Your subconscious mind runs your body while you're sleeping. Think about it. You're literally raw dogging life when you go to sleep. And your subconscious mind is running your body. Start believing in the power of your brain, but believing in your power in general. You know, it's not anything to overthink. You desire something, you begin to think like the person that has it already. How do you begin to think like someone that has it already? You intentionally create those thoughts. What are intentional thoughts? Affirmations. All right. If you feel you only need to say it one time, say it one time. But some people have deep-rooted beliefs that take repetition. So you should be repeating this. You should be repeating your intentional thoughts over and over and over again. You think basketball players play one time and they're the best? They may have the skill, hence why they maybe got to the NBA, but they got to play and practice so they better that. That's how you get what you want in this life. You think like the person you desire to be, and you repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. What have we learned here today, guys? We learned that if you desire to be, you have to think as if you have it with intentional thoughts. And intentional thoughts are what? Affirmations. So make sure you're repeating those affirmations to yourself. If you want this life, stop looking for it. Just be it, and your life will change. And that is all, guys. Thank you for coming to my channel. And I'm back. I'm back and back. I know a lot of you guys been asking me when I'm going to do lives. I will be announcing my next live with the time, because I know late night is a little bit hard for some of you guys. And we're going to chop it up. All right? I'm Nikki the Creator, and I'll be back.